welcome everyone. This is the third year I've had the opportunity to present this at this camp. Dancing 5 Rhythms has been a part of my life for 45 years. I've danced 4 or 5 times a week all around the world, even before these movement practices began a long time ago. Now I'm coming in from Melbourne, Australia, and this particular approach that I'm about to share with you to generating presentation breakthroughs is highly interactive. That means that everything you say, everything you do will be part of the show, every movement of your feet. So watch, listen. At the beginning, I want to give you a promise, and that is that when you leave here today, at 3:15, that each one of you who participate, some of you who can sit here and watch as well, will have a shift in the way that you perceive your body as the chief instrument of communication, both in perceiving and expressing. Who here are teachers and speak or in some way present for them? Raise your hands high. Right. Good. Thank you. Who here is shy about presenting? Raise your little pinky just a tiny bit. It's all of us. At some point, sooner or later, we're all going to be shy and bold. The best presenters, the shyest ones of us. My objective here with all of you today is to create that shift so you don't have to go back to where you were before. I'm Gary Goldman, presentation coach, communication coach, body therapist, healing artist, etc. And as you introduce yourselves today, what I'd like to do is see what you can do to mobilize a greater connectedness with your verbal words, your vocal sounds, and your visual delivery. Is everybody ready for this? Yes. Sounds like a yes. All right. A couple of guidelines as we begin. Because there is going to be quite a bit of interaction and possibly some vulnerable material. You may cry, share things they've never shared before. It often happens in these groups. I'm going to ask for a confidentiality agreement, meaning that if you leave here and start talking about so-and-so's great share, or you just see what happened to him, keep it in the room, would you, so that others don't feel that their privacy is invaded. That way, each one of you will feel safer to be able to go to a greater depth and share or shift more swiftly. If you're willing to do that, raise your left hand in the air, your right hand in the air, your right foot, if you can, in the air, your left foot, and then click your heels together. Highly interactive workshop. All right. I'm going to ask for a particular kind of feedback. It's so easy to give advice and tell people you could do this better or criticize. That's not the kind of feedback I want. If you can, noticing what you see, heard, and felt, giving feedback that is empowering, nurturing, supportive, according to what the person who stood up here is volunteering as what they want to move through in their communication challenge. So with that, you would not be giving advice. You may say something like, I saw you, instead of just saying, I saw you looking more confident. That doesn't say anything, does it? I saw you looking more confident. What does that mean? What is it that looks more confident? What's tangible? What's physical? What's measurable? Was it you nodding your head just now at me? Was it you pausing and having a moment just to reflect with you? Was it someone breaking free of feeling tight and having a fluidity of movement? The purpose of doing this at the beginning of this week is so that each one of you is mobilized and comes out of any traps of limitations, so the whole week is eased up for you. All right. If you're ready for this, I want to hear the words, I'm ready. Really strong. I'm ready! So am I. All right, so the first exercise we're going to do is one where we can stand up together, please, and create a space in the middle where the camera can see through. Thank you. Now for this portion, yeah, it's good if you give yourself room for this portion. This first simple sentence I'm going to ask you to practice with me is one that we all want all the time, but it doesn't always work out that way. These words, just saying these words first after me, whether you believe them or not. It's easy for me, to reach you with my message. That's not always true, is it? It would be great if it were always true, but it's not. So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to introduce a Monty Python approach to making breakthroughs in presentation. We're going to start that right now. It's something I've developed called the double extreme technique. We want to give you permission to do it all wrong, to not have to look good, to not have to get it right, to have permission to screw it up entirely. So if you talk fast, if you stutter, if you don't look at people in the eyes, if you stop breathing, whatever it is that you ordinarily do when you're not reaching people easily with your message, I want you to do that right now with your whole body while you say the same words. I'll give you a demonstration. It's easy for me to reach you. You got your own version of that. No one's going to be looking because you're all in the back row and the front row. I'm the only one that the camera's on right now. So your words, it's easy for me to reach you with my message, but do it all wrong. Ready? Go! Okay, great. Okay, great. So you got that at least started to get out of your system. Now we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to combine the verbal words that we just shared with the voice that has a sound of deepening. Place your right hand at the base of your spine. Oh, any right hand will do. That's all right. Each of your hands. And now direct the sound, instead of up and out like you want to impress someone, down and in towards the center of the molten earth. Reaching yourself as your most critical audience rather than trying to reach someone outside of yourself. So the same words, it's easy for me to reach you with my message. Instead of sending the sound out, sending it down and in. Ready? Go. It's easy for me to reach you with my message. You notice the difference that time? We notice the difference. Come up to the front for a moment if you would. And let us know, we all can see and hear you. What did you notice specifically that shifted that time?
I felt the thing that shifted for me was that I was embodying this the best.
Exactly, and this is the next thing that you're doing. The gestures. So much more of what we see and understand is from the gesture. The sound went down as did your intention. Speaking from the deepest authority. Thank you. Okay. Now we combine the gestures which make up even more of what people remember. It's easy for me to reach you with my message, this time making pictures with your hands and your arms, so if people couldn't hear you, they could see the same expression. Moving your arms, saying the same words, ready, go. It's easy for me to reach you with my message. So we're starting to create a congruence between the verbal, vocal, and visual element of communication. All right, now have a seat. A quick story, a short story, true story. About 25, 30 years ago, when I was first getting into this work, I was living in Boston, and I had an ad in a newspaper called Lawyers Weekly. There was a man who was both a lawyer and a CPA who called me and he said, look, I have a new business. I have a new business. It's an estate planning business, and no one's purchasing my product. Something's wrong. Come help me. So I came into his office, and here is this bright, good-looking, athletic guy who anyone you can imagine would say yes to him. Why would anyone not accept his offer? And then I asked him, having had quite a few years in my background of psychodrama and some of the work we're about to get into here today, what is behind your not being able to get what you want? What happens when you ask the question? And he said, well, I'm not sure how to answer the question, but I know that when I was very young, when I was around 12 years old, my father, who was a very successful businessman, was showing me, son, here's the way to paint your father's boat. Do it just like me, and you'll be okay. So little Kenny, in that moment, what did he decide? What did he decide in that particular moment? That unless I do it like my father, why even bother to try? So I asked him to do an exercise I'm about to ask all of you to do. It's going to be an introduction exercise of each of us introducing ourselves to each other, where this exercise changed his life, as it turned out. Very simple exercise. I asked him, if you could step behind yourself, and be, just as I encouraged you a few minutes ago, that empowering, nurturing communicator that is behind you, that supports you. What would you say, what would your new self-talk be if you could speak from that place before you even say a word? And he said, well, I care a lot about people, I'm really creative, and I always find a way of getting through difficult situations. That sounded interesting, but it wasn't 5S enough for me. 5S. Say these words after me. It wasn't the simplest, shortest, strongest, specific statement. So throughout this time together today, I'm going to ask you to speak. When I say 5S, that means say it in fewer words. So you have to communicate with great power. And 3 key words. That would be your essence, what it is in you that before you even speak are the 3 keys. It could be Googled in some metaphoric universe, it would come up with your name. For me, it would be I'm creative, I'm transformational, and I'm outrageous. There's different things that connect to it. Thank you.